Good morning and welcome to Today at the Races at Pimlico Racecourse. I'm Tim Tulloch. I'm joined by Keith Fustel. It's been a while, Keith. It's good to see you again. It's good to be back in action.
Absolutely. We got to deal with the weather. The elements again today. We're off the turf, sloppy main track to get you started. But, we've got some good things to target. Some money is out there. Big money is out there.
Big money's out there.
Yeah, but good to have you back.
It's good to be back. Mother Nature, she's undefeated. She has a perfect record. She wins every time. She's won again today with our sloppy track. But as you mentioned, we have some big numbers. We're going to get to that in a minute. But before we get to that big carryover in the Rainbow Pick 6, let's talk about what's coming up this coming week and next weekend. Next weekend, our Belmont Stakes watch party. That's Saturday, June 5th. Gates open at 11 o'clock at Laurel Park and Pimlico. And advanced wagering is available on Friday, June 4th. That's coming up next weekend. But tomorrow, our big Memorial Day card, special Memorial Day live racing. Always a special day here at Old Hilltop. So we're certainly looking forward to that. But what we're really looking forward to this afternoon is Race 3. And Race 3 is going to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6 with a big carryover, $783, $267 all together. Again, 8-race card kicks off in Race 3. What do you think about that?
I'm telling you, awesome. Let's just call it 800,000. We'll round it up. 800,000 in the pot today. There will be more. They bet about 100 and I believe 15,000 yesterday. So, there's going to be plenty of action. Again, it's a good sequence. I know we're off the turf. We've got some scratches, but once again, this card, there's no real single amongst the group. I mean, I couldn't really find any. And, man, I tell you, did you find one?
I found one.
I feel sorry for the guy. Yesterday, whoever it was, maybe a conglomerate, had a ticket there live for $835,000. Unfortunately, ran second. And as I say, Dems the brakes, unfortunately. But let's get back at it today.
Yeah, and so races off the turf, but the turf races hung together pretty well. A little short field in the last leg of the Rainbow Pick 6, but the rest of the races hung together quite well. As you mentioned, you can look behind us. You can see the track sloppy, and we are off the turf.
Yeah, it's still chilly. Only 51 right now. It's raw. It's a raw day in Baltimore. Hopefully, we've got some warmer temps on the horizon and some clearer weather. But, we're going to have to deal with it right now. Just a reminder, again, only an 8-race card this afternoon. So that Rainbow Pick 6 starts in Race 3. Starting in Race 3 this afternoon.
No doubt about that. Well, we got a lot to get to here, Keith. So let's get started. Race 1 kicks off the early pick of 5. Mandatory payout in the early pick 5, 50-cent minimum, 12% takeout, and industry low. Races 1 through 5 here at Pimlico. And race 1 also kicks off the Super High 5 this afternoon. We'll have that board up here in a minute. But I don't know if there was a carryover in the Super High 5 or not, but does kick off the Super High 5. Race 1 is a maiden event, 16,000. This one's off the turf. It will run at 1 mile and 16th on the main track. And Keith, you have the one Brightwood on top for Robin Graham. Alexander Crispin gets the call.
Absolutely. And once again, real quick, it looked like 3,800 in the Super High 5 to get you started on today's racing card. 38.86 if I saw that correctly. So, Delacour's got a couple. Arno Delacour's got a couple horses shipping in today. They last seen at Tampa in the first race and from a little bit later. But anyhow, they're both going to be solid favorites today. But I'm going to try to beat them right here with the one Brightwood. Brightwood's best race came on a muddy sealed surface. We've got moisture in the track today off of a similar type of layoff. You go back to February 7th. Of 2021. A good effort. Chased the pace too wide all the way around, held well. Beyer works for me at 47. A tough trip after that. Was caught 5 wide every step of the way. Just couldn't really fire home from there. But I think the proven factor on this off track, kind of get forward position against this group. There's not a lot of true speed. I like to see this horse in touch, leaving the 3/8 pole. But now yesterday too as well, Tim. I thought dead on the inside. If you were riding that rail, it wasn't the place to be yesterday. 4 paths off the track, off the rail looked to be the best. We'll see if it holds true today. But Brightwood, maybe just get that stalking trip outside of arrival. But I think this horse could upset it here for Robin Graham.
That's certainly a nice inside draw if he can stay close and get himself in good position. And I would think that would be the plan with that draw. My top pick is likely to be your favorite, the 8 Tradition for Arno Delacour. Daniel Santino gets the call here today, stretching this afternoon off a good maiden start at Tampa. We have that video, and we're going to pick it up at the quarter pole.
Yeah, they went fast early, and this horse was caught in between horses and really didn't seem phased by that, Tim. Was able to generate a run, leaving about the 3/8 pole. Now, didn't come home real fast. The final eighth, a little sluggish, even though he's closing the gap. Leader getting tired. So he had to do a lot of work, I guess, to get up into contention there in mid-stretch. But came on quite well at the end. Breeding suggests should be any problem for the off-track. Tapazar is about 11 or 12%. Sprinter route, though, we'll see. And the last couple of years, I found this stat. That's a smaller sample. Delacour 0 for 7 with maiden claimers on the dirt here in Maryland. So going to take a lot of play is the one to beat. But when I see a stat like that, I've got to take a shot for a price, and we'll go with the one. 1-8-6-7 in the opener for me.
And Arno Delacour about 24%. Maidens making their second start.
Yes.
But you're right, that race was a little bit of a sluggish fest in the last eighth of a mile. He's going to have to do better today, but should appreciate the off-going. Race 2 kicks off the early pick 4, and Keith, you put together us a ticket, a nice $24 play.
Yeah, affordable ticket. Race 2, Scratch the 4, Bust Out Lady. I still think it holds pretty competitively, even though it's a 5-horse field. I go 3 deep, 3-5-8, make it a 3-5-6. I'm sorry, that should be 3-5-6, guys. My bad on the graphic. 3-5-6 to get you started in that pick 4. The 6 is going to be, I believe, your favorite. Looks like the main speed from the outside. 2, 8, 9, 15. Then we're going to cut it down a little bit in races 4 and 5, just 2 deep. 1, 3, and 4 and 10. We'll have that up on the website. Go check that out. We're going to change that race 2. We'll come back to that later and show it again, guys. We'll probably have time. But 3-5-6 is your first leg of that early pick 4.
And you can find Keith's ticket. Naomi Tucker has a late pick 4 ticket. And, of course, my Rainbow Pick 6 ticket all on the website. Just go to Pimlico.com and go to the handicapping section, and that will be all there. Race 2 is a 2 lifetime event. $16,000 is your claiming price, going 3/4 of a mile, and we are going to start at your 8-5 favorite on the morning line. Make it a double for Linda Albert. Yoma Ortiz gets a call, and this one's just simply dropping back to a manageable level.
Yeah, this looks like the spot. It comes back to where it was claimed for $16,000 back in February of 2020. Some breaks, but chased some pretty quick horses in her most recent start. The outside played well yesterday. I think she should be able to get right to the front against this group and kind of make that separating move around the 3/8 pole and see if she can last here on the class drop back down to the 16-2 in life. The 3 intrigues me a little bit. Acadian Girl, you've got her in the mix. Big effort first off the claim. They gave her a little freshening, stretched out against a softer bunch. The second place finisher did come back to win. So interesting that the horse entered main track only on a turf sprint. Decided to go here. I think this is the right spot. Second, Lasix. Duralis is just absolutely rolling right now. He and Lapidus, we say it time and time again, they've teamed up year in and year out, claiming horses and doing quite well. This one, just fits the bill as well. 2 for 6 with the maiden claiming winners last out. This horse looks like the true closer in this group.
It does. 2 Claire's Darling getting back to a good level again this afternoon. Broke her maiden at this level 2 back. Tried a race that was just a little bit too tough on the turf, but gets back to the main track. And really, honestly, should be okay on a track that's got some moisture in it.
Yeah, I mean, she's got speed. She's going to be able to hold, I think, position up inside. Now, I don't know if we'll get a great tell after the first race, but you don't want to really maybe pin down. If that track's playing like yesterday, especially having to deal with the 6, will she be able to stay the trip? That's the key for me. It's Spirit of Sprite kind of finally put it together last time out at Penn. A little lug in top of the stretch, but definitely improved form. A horse that took play into a pretty good field in debut. That was a driving rainstorm that particular afternoon, and she didn't quite fire at Penn, but she put it together last time and makes the right kind of drop. The number fits for this group.
Pretty similar here in race 2 as we move to race 3. And race 3 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's take another look at that carryover. And like Keith said, let's call it 800,000 in today's Rainbow Pick 6. This is a Maryland record, by the way.
Okay.
So we're going for it today. I have a ticket, spent a little bit more money on the ticket, $86.40. But why not when you're going after that type of payoff? I go 3 deep here in race 3, and and I know that the 8 is probably going to be the favorite for. The 15 is probably going to be a short price favorite for Arno Delacour, but I'm not totally sold there, and I'm going to try to look for a little bit of a price. So I go 4 deep here, 8, 12, 13, and 15. The 15 for Arno will be your top pick. A race of 4, I go 3 deep there. The 1, the 3, and the 6 in that main 25 event. Race 5, I go 4 deep again here. This one comes off the turf, but it stays together. 2, 4, 5, and 10. And my single comes in race 6. I know it's a maiden 10, but it's first time Claudio Gonzalez. And I like this one this afternoon as my single coming off just a little bit of a slight break with 3 works. So I'm going to single there. I know it's a maiden 10, but that's the only one I was confident enough to single on. Race 7, I use the 1, 4, and 5. And in race 8, I was just going to hit the all button. It scratched down to a 4-horse field, but it made it a little bit too expensive. 2, 3, and 5 in race 8 as we move to race 3. Race 3 is a maiden event, 16,000 for fillies for maiden 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. This one's off the turf. Will run at 1 mile and a 16th. Take out the 1 Naked in Cabo, the 3 Always Biz, the 4 Galactic Slam, the 6 Pratt, and the also eligible Bulldog Connection, the 15 also eligible, and my top pick is Ferment. But let's start with your top pick here, the 8. Aperitivo for Damon Della Vico, second off a break this afternoon.
Yeah, I think, looking at his running style, he's going to be forward in here, and I like the Oxbows going long and the Oxbows going long on an off track. There's 17% on this kind of track, 17% going long. There's not a ton of true speed. Equalizers brought a little bit to the table. I just think this horse is going to be a stayer in here. Stay off the inside, hang around, kept on churning last time out, first off a layoff, second back off the break, have a little bit more bottom underneath of him. I just see him as a pace factor throughout.
And certainly the off-track makes this horse a little bit more attractive. No doubt about that with that Oxbow out of the spikes down there on the bottom. My top pick, who will probably be your most likely favorite, is Fermat for Arnaud Delacour. Daniel Santino gets the call. They hit it about 23%. Look, his lone dirt effort looks pretty good, but I like these horses have run pretty well on the turf, get onto a sloppy track for the first time by algorithms out of a Quiet American mare. That's not too far away from liking it.
No, should. Quiet Americans, yes. And the mare did win on dirt, I think a 4-time winner on the dirt. I'm just not – I'm questioning a little bit. I went back and looked at that field, the 2-back try on the dirt. Second place finisher, I think, ran an okay figure at Thistledown next out. But nothing strong. And, didn't go there and dominate like you would have expected. So I think a little bit of a vulnerable favorite here in race number 3.
Yeah, use a 9 here in race 3. Surfing for Claudio Gonzalez. Turf race going long last time. 2 efforts have not been particularly good, but we are getting a bit of class relief.
Exactly, and it's the second time Claudio turf back to dirt angled. You just don't want to get this horse jump up and run big, and you get beat by our leading trainer at a big price.
No doubt
I'm throwing
about
this
that.
horse in and with Acosta. Yep.
Race 3 does kick off the Rainbow Pick 6 with that big $800,000 carryover, so just keep that in mind. Rainbow Pick 6 gets started in race 3 this afternoon at Pimlico. Race 4 kicks off the late pick 5. There's no carryover from yesterday, but always a 50-cent minimum, 12% industry low takeout. That gets kicked off this afternoon in a race 4. Race 4 is a maiden $25,000 event. 4 fillies and mares, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile. Keith, you have the 1 Golden Lassie on top for Claudio Gonzalez. Second off of a layoff. Ran okay last time on the mud, but gets class relief this afternoon.
Yeah, and real quick, talking about our pick 4s and our pick 5s and everything like that, our multi-race wagers. Yesterday, the early pick 4, $21.99. The middle pick 4, $5,400. The late pick 5, $2,000. So they are paying. I know we were off the turf. They're still paying. Okay, the races are holding together quite well. They're being competitive. So yeah, don't sleep on any of those wagers. So yeah, I go back to the inside with Golden Lassie. I like they had a little confidence, raise this horse up to a maiden special weight off of that maiden 40 claim February the 4th. Hopped at the break. This horse has the speed, is the speed of the speed in my opinion. Just need her to break. If she breaks, I think she can clear. Maybe just get off the inside and take them coast to coast. Claudia going to be very, very tough in here, despite all odds. Deserves another look. Second time at the barn too.
And she's going to have to get away. She draws the fence. It's going to be important. She's not gotten away two of her 4 starts. She hasn't gotten away well. The 1 Golden Lassie, I still like her. Have her in my exact. I do have his other horse, 3, despite all odds on top. This one's dropping. Well, coming out of a pretty tough race. Edie, Meeny, Money, Mo.
Yes.
That was an impressive first-time starter for Miguel Vera. And response time would come out of that race and win 2 back behind another next-out winner up there in New York. This just simply might be the right spot at the right time.
And the key was this horse was against the grain of the racetrack on the 23rd. 22nd, 23rd of April, Pimlico, you wanted to be rail. This horse was 3 wide. Take note in the short comments there. That's why we put him there, to keep you abreast of the situation. Yet, despite all odds, could get that perfect tracking spot today. Tricky Spirits is a user as well. You've got her in third. I do, too. We've got a video spotlight of her from April the 8th, and a pretty good try. Shortening up that day from 7/8 to 6 furlongs. And Tricky Spirits, this particular, 40-1. We're not going to get that this afternoon, right? Was able to kind of work between horses here. You're going to see coming to the 8th pole, the 7-horse shifting out. Goes quite willingly. Calls the Dream, was a Claudio runner that afternoon. Proper Storm came back to win. That might have been on the grass, but trouble, just tossed the last race. I really didn't know if I thought this horse was a turf horse or not. I got bet down to 11-1, but was completely eliminated. You can't get checked at the half-mile pole on the turf here, 5/8, and still get up to win. But back to the dirt, looks like a viable user from just off the pace.
Both races going 5.5 furlongs and 6 furlongs on the main track. Good efforts. We'll see if she can handle the off-going today. We need to take a little short break, but when we come back, we'll talk about Naomi Tucker's late pick 4.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground on her inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Well, welcome back to Today at the Races at Pimlico. I'm Tim Tulla. Keith Fustel still hanging around for the second half of this card, and we're going to start out by talking about the late pick 4, which gets started in race 5 here at Pimlico. And Naomi Tucker put us together a ticket. Wow, she goes deep in race 5. She uses a 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. She has a race 5 covered, and look at that. She singled just like I did on my Rainbow Pick 6 on the 2 Golden G for Claudio Gonzalez. 1-4-5 in race 7. 3-5 in race 8. A $15 very affordable late to pick 4 ticket. And as you mentioned, Keith, all those pick 4s and pick 5s yesterday were paying big.
Paid great. So definitely step in and bet. I mean, you've got a couple horses here. You're singling, this 2 horse, she's singling in race 6-2. Well, if that one goes down, it just bumps everything up. We're not rooting against you or anything, Naomi or Tim, but that's the way the game is here. And we had what, a $53 winner yesterday, another $40 winner that just appeared. So you got to get tied on and spread out a little bit.
I know how you hate that chalk.
No, yeah, I despise it.
Despise the chalk. Let's move on. Race of 5 does come off the turf. It will go 5/8 of a mile on the main track. This is a starter race or $25,000 event. And you have the 10 on top. This is Degas for Charlie Frock. J.D. Acosta gets the call, but wow, never on and off track. But if there's one to cut out to handle it, it's here, right now.
And that's why I was glad when I walked in here and still saw plenty of moisture in this racetrack. I thought it was going to, stay wet the last time. The track ended up drying out, got fast. Today might just be the day. The way the track played yesterday, he's in a perfect spot. If it's anywhere close to that, he can vie and still go on, too. He can hang around and cut it out through fast fractions. I like Degas here. Let's let this moisture stay in the racetrack.
Yeah, he's in good form right now. He's coming off 2 really good efforts on a fast racetrack. He may be a better horse this afternoon than he's ever been before.
Absolutely. If this is the day, if he's going to move up and take that next step, it should be on the off track. And it's always fun when the Frocks enter the winner's circle, huh?
Especially here at Old Hilltop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's when the Frocks win a race at Old Hilltop, the winner's circle is the most happening place on the grounds. No doubt about that. I am going with the 4. Joseph is real for Damon Dilladovico. This is another one that was in good form before going on a little bit of a vacation. We haven't seen him since March. Comes in with some good works. But this is another one that's never been on an off track, but should handle it without a problem.
Yeah, I mean, those talents and figures, I look at them, I glance at them, but man, that's a big number of 473 they've got up there on the racing form. So yeah, Joseph is real. He's been steady. He's been consistent. Interesting move in for the tag. A horse that's been knocking on the door, right, in that A Other Than company. So interesting for the little drop. Do we have a video for him or no?
Joseph, we do have a video for
Okay, let's watch that race.
This is from March 5th.
The most recent race in a big field, 11-horse field over at Laurel on March the 5th, right? right? Valued Notion is in there, was able to clear at a big price that afternoon. But Joseph Israel, I mean, he's got enough speed. I thought he'd be a little bit, closer maybe, but he's got enough speed to kind of work his way out and work out a trip today. In this group, too, I think he's going to be able to hold close. It's 5/8, shorter run in the turn. You don't want to miss anything, Tim, at the start. But this particular afternoon, now easing out and just closing steadily. Just can't quite get up. Game run to the last 16th of a mile, but things a little too easy for Value Notion around the turn that day.
Sure.
But yeah, here's a good finish. But for the 25, that's just my biggest concern there.
In for the 25, and coming off some good races at the Adriana level, but maybe it's just simply time to win.
Yep.
And it's always time to win, but time to win over this one. It was 1 for 7 in his career. The 2 is interesting to me. Charm City banned for Hugh McMahon. This would be second off a layoff, a decent return in his last trip, but shows some nice races sprinting on the main track.
He's got to get out better than he did last time. I used this horse, was a short price. I didn't think he'd be that short, $1.71. That's going to help you. That line last time out is going to help your price this afternoon. He was off a little sluggish and just couldn't make it up. Hustled up, it was flat. Don't want to be pinned behind horses here going 5/8. If he gives up any ground out of the gate, it's going to be tough. So he needs to break.
Yeah, he needs to break.
Yep.
I sent in a change, fellas, for this race. My number should be 4-2-5-10. 4-2-5-10, and Keith does have the 10 Degas
All right.
on top. Race 6 is a maiden $10,000 event. This is where you're going to find my single and Naomi's single on her late pick 4, and my rainbow pick 6. And both our top pick is the 2 Golden G for Claudio Gonzalez. Angel Cruz gets the call. Another one who's had 2 efforts on and off track, hasn't run particularly well, should handle by rights, handle the off track. But now we're getting the off track, which he should handle, and first time Claudio Gonzalez.
First time Claudio, exactly. He looks like he's the quickest here. Papa Lou showed a little speed last time, but that was after, a broke slow and then a rush up. Now, if he comes away naturally, is he going to show that kind of stalking tendency? We'll see. Sometimes horses get off kilter. They break slow, the jock kind of sends them, and they just take off. So it's going to be, up to Charlie Marquez to get that horse out cleanly, the 1 Papaloo. But Golden G looks like the speed. You hit it on perfectly. By McLean's music, this horse should have moved up in the slot already, given the chances. Now we're going to go first time Claudio. But Munzano, this is the horse. Yeah, doesn't want to switch lead, stays on that left lead, but does bring a closing kick. 1 and 2 and get engaged. He's the one that's going to pick it up and go on by. Yeah,
Papaloo's going to have to get away. Charlie's got his work cut out for him. This is a horse, the 1 Papaloo, who's not gotten away well in 2 of his 4 starts, and now he has to break from the rail. But at least here at Pimlico, it's not really from the rail. There's a lot of room when you break here at Pimlico from that 1 draw to the fence. So if you make a little bit of a mistake, you can typically get on up there if you don't get away the best from the 1 hole. That's race 6 as we move to race 7. Another event taken off the turf. It will run a mile 16th on the grass. Take out the 2, take out the 6. The 8 comes out and stays together with a pretty good field. Keith, both you and I have the 5 on top. This is Lucky Ramsey for Kieran McGee, the red hot Kieran McGee. And this one has the main track efforts that simply stand above the rest.
Yeah, it's interesting that went off on that 1 bad race in January on the main track, a little awkward start and excuse, then back on the turf and just didn't really fire at all, but needed that race. Here's a race with has some speed. Yeah, we've had some scratches, but some speed stays in. Closer look, I think, is going to be a factor. Hard fought likes to be close. Maybe even Tusk could be close, but Lucky Ramsey getting back here to the main track, handles around the ground, has been okay, hasn't won on off track, but makes that run. You go back last summer in August, that field that he runs against Toughest Hombre, Colonel Juan, that's about similar to this. That's this kind of group. He needs to get something back close to that, and I think he will today. I like the fact that they stay with him, too. They don't drop this horse. This is a horse that was claimed for 12.5. They could have just gone down towards the bottom and say, hey, so they must think the horse is okay.
The 4 hard fought for Damon De Ludovico. This one we have a video on. Last time we saw this horse on a track with moisture was right here, and we're going to pick this one up at the top of the stretch.
Yeah. Here we go. This is October the 30th on a good track, right, against Dixie Draw. Was able to kind of get the lead and just keeps on battling, though, hard fought. I tell you, the 12 horse that particular afternoon, he's a horse too. Looking at his post position today, he kind of moves a little bit closer, but he may be able to just spy the speed of Closer Look. If Closer Look decides to go, he can maybe just stalk outside in that 3 or 4 path and ride it, because when his horse is right, he's a stayer. He can run an okay clip up top and hang around. That's why I like Hard Fall today. 4 for 5 in the money on and off track.
Pretty similar. In fact, almost exactly the same here in race 7. We move to race 8. This will conclude the Rainbow Pick 6, and hopefully someone's alive with that single to take this whole thing down, and maybe it could be me. That would be a nice thing to happen, or maybe even a good friend. A good friend could take it down. And
good friend or us. Let's be selfish. We want to take it down.
Sure.
You and I, you've got tuitions to pay. I got stuff to pay. We
we
always complain about our bills and everything. I do at least. So I could use 800,000.
Yeah, well, that good friend could disappear quickly if they take down the 800,000. They may not know my name, but that's not the worst thing in the world. Hey, race 8 does scratch down to a 4-horse field. Take out the 4 and the 6. Keep both you end up on the 3, 2 doors down. 4, Carlos Mencia has some nice races on his form, but not lately.
Yeah, this is a race where it's scratched down. 4 and the 6 are out. There's no speed in the race. 2 doors down was claimed back for 5,000, right, December the 19th. Didn't really fire that day, and it looks like they might have taken the bait. This horse ran a big number of 58, right, on breaking the maiden from maiden 10, right down to the nickel. Okay, that was like say, okay, here you go. Well, the horse ran poorly. Two subsequent starts really bad, but given time to regroup, and Mencia has gotten horses to run okay off of a layoff. I think this horse is fresh. Just need a complete form reversal, and I think we just might get it here in a short field.
By Danza, out of a theatrical mare. The bottom side might be a little iffy on off track, but in this group, anything can happen. It probably doesn't have the weight that it does in a good race, how well they run on and off track. I have the 5 Shaka Style for Ferris Allen on top, 2 back, and a 2 lifetime for 10,000. Decent race. Ran behind Big Rennie, Aladdin Sane, and ran a lifetime best. Now we're going to have to run back to that this afternoon.
Yeah, his other horse too, Tiny Tin, out of the same race, a belated run. Maybe Shaka Style had a little tougher trip when outside, but even Stand My Ground, you look, was a 57 over a sloppy sealed racetrack a few races back. That would probably just blow the doors off of this field this afternoon if he can bring that race back.
That concludes our 8-race card here this afternoon. Remember, Rainbow Pick 6 gets started in race 3 this afternoon at Pimlico. $800,000 carryover. But let's move to my favorite part of the show. Can't wait to get to this part, the lightning round. Right here and right now. I guess we don't have a little introduction. There she is. There she comes. We had a little bit of this thunder and lightning a couple nights ago around here. Let's start, Keith, with COVID. And the question is, did COVID help out the traffic for sure? I mean, the traffic was great during the pandemic, but did racing get a bounce during the COVID?
Absolutely. With the sports going down, stopping, and nobody really having any chance to do the sports betting, a lot of people shifted over and started saying, "Oh, let's try the horses," because the horses were on. Not a bunch of tracks were on, but the horses were on, and people were able to kind of get involved. And I think the powers that be did a good job showcasing our sport, and we took advantage of it. And it's kind of we're seeing the rewards right now. I mean, I hate to say anything with COVID, but from a racing standpoint, it did bring plenty of new money into the sport.
And I think it certainly brought in new fans, and it's a good segue. I go home every day, and I can find racing on TV, whether it's not only just TVG, but on Fox, and a lot of times the local affiliates are picking up the TVG feed.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great. I mean, you used to flip around and you never saw anything, right? Unless you were subscribed to a TVG, but or an HRTV. So now we've got it, and it's out there. And like I say, people I've talked to and come into contact with, strangers, and we'll talk about what I do, and like, oh yeah. Again, I kind of got into it during COVID. We didn't have any options, so we started doing. They would have people come over. They had their own little betting parties, which is great.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and we certainly welcome new fans fans that we got, and then maybe if we can't trip over ourselves for a change,
let's hope not.
honestly, we can keep those fans and keep this momentum rolling. With the closure of Laurel Park, horses have moved to Timonium. The Big T, my man Steve, went up there the other day to get some footage at Timonium, and it certainly has come alive. About 550 horses are stabled at Timonium. A big thanks to our friends and partners up there at the Maryland State Fair who have made this all possible.
Absolutely. A good team effort to get this done. Timonium, I mean, I talked about it yesterday with Naomi. That's where I kind of cut my teeth from the gambling standpoint at a young age. I love it. They've got a great OTB in there, the grandstand grill and everything.
Our friend Scott Hammond runs it.
Scotty does a great job over there. And I tell you, I mean, the food is great. I mean, I have a great time over there. The prices are right. And even for the local area around Timonium, for the people that are just kind of maybe never really familiar, the grooms and all that are over there, plenty of options. You know, take care of yourself, get some breakfast in the morning, so that's good for them as well. So they're not just stranded, in no man's land. So it was great that everybody had a chance to land during this time, and we're dealing with the track over at Laurel.
Yeah, well, as we're dealing with that. And I had a few minutes to catch up with Mike Trombetta, who has 40 horses stabled at Timonium, and this is what he had to say.
Well, it's a blessing that we have Timonium to train at, especially under these circumstances. So, you know, it's a great facility. The horses like being here, and it's a great spot to train them. The hardest part was getting moved over here, but once we get settled in and get organized, it gets a little bit easier. You know, so the horses do good here. They like the open air barns. They can see around, and they seem to do good.
And as I said, Mike has 43 horses stabled there. And everyone has a Timonium story. I'm pretty sure Larry Colmus watched his first races at Timonium. And Mike Trombetta, after that, the barn that was behind him, he said that was the first barn I worked at in barn 15.
Wow.
So everyone has a great Timonium story. It's the only racing fair left, a flat racing fair east of the Mississippi, and we look forward to their meet later in the summer. And thanks to all our friends up at Timonium. Well, we're going to switch gears here a little bit. We're going to talk about a little lacrosse. And anything bigger in Maryland, big in Maryland, horse racing, Preakness, and of course lacrosse. And Maryland advanced to the D1 final yesterday with a huge win over second seed Duke, 14-5. They're playing great. High noon tomorrow, they take on Virginia.
Oh, wow. Is that for the championship? Yeah, that'll be great. Yes. Two great teams here in the Mid-Atlantic, Virginia, Maryland. I used to play quite a bit of lacrosse back in the day. I wasn't quite as good as some of these guys now. They're phenomenal, but I mean, it's a great sport. The youth. I mean, we see, just talk about Timonium. You know, how many times you see the tournaments in the infield over there for
next week?
Yeah. So I mean, that's always a big spot. But good for Maryland. Good job.
Yeah, we look forward to that. High noon tomorrow from Hartford, Connecticut. As you mentioned, big lacrosse tournament at Timonium next week.
Wow. Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. So
can we bet on it? Can we bet on the youth lacrosse tournament?
Well, listen, I've got some friends who bet on anything. They're probably going to be in the stands there, taking a little side bets.
All right,
and probably have snuck in their alcohol too early in the morning. But it will be a good day. Thank you for joining us. We touched on a little bit of everything today. Remember, race 3, Rainbow Pick 6, $800,000 carryover. Make sure you're here for that and get your tickets in for Keith, myself. Dave Rodman comes up next with Scratches and Changes.
All right, good luck, everybody.